Just go from the top. I'm Ryan Betts.
I'm just...
we can't start with... Aww. I'm Ryan Betts.
I'm Josh Saunders.
I'm Jill Bowden.
Guess what?
What?
We can buy our way into E3.
Sweet.
Whoa!
$250 or $149 if you're one of the first 1,000 buyers.
Well, what were we saying? When we make it, we're going to be going to E3. That's the highest achievement.
The goal is to get invited to E3.
Ooh. Yeah.
Now we can just buy our way there. On top of the cost of the tickets, also flights and accommodation for us. Okay? Yeah.
But this is really interesting. So, like, this because E3 has always been an entirely media-focused event. Mm-hmm. It's all about, hey, we're publishers and developers showing the media so you can go and show your audiences, right? And this is the first time they've been like, hey, public, give us money, you can totally come.
You know why? I think. Because there's been talks for the last few years the relevance of E3 these days with how digital content is now. Easy it is, like, because PlayStation do their PSX conference and all, and Nintendo have their
most a lot of publishers pulled out last year. Yeah,
like Activision and EA weren't there last year. They're not on the list so far for this year either. So it could be seen as just a way to keep that event going.
I crunched the numbers. And just the 14,000 tickets at $250 is $3.5 million.
Yeah, see?
Hardly worth it.
Now, my issue with that is let's go to a different expo at the moment. Let's go to SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Right? Notorious for waiting times.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely notorious. I actually watched a video from Game Theory the other day, and he added up the average wait time of each person that bought a ticket over the 4 days adds up to 115 years of wasted time standing in line, not doing anything. Now, 15,000, I don't know exactly how big where they do E3 is size-wise, but 15,000 people on top of all the games and media journalists are going to be there. That sounds like a lot of freaking people.
Or even... This is the thing, right?
Sorry. This is why you don't actually get to attend the conferences as well.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? So these 15,000 people are additional to the standard numbers of people they bring in anyway. So it's a whole more people on top. Yep. Now these people don't, as you mentioned, don't get to go to the conferences. They don't get to they only get to do the show floor.
The hands-on game.
The hands-on. But even as like if you watch like any of the kind of funny stuff, they discuss this and they're like, yeah, but most of the stuff that we talk about in terms of, hey, this is this cool thing we tried, we're all behind media closed doors anyway. Mm-hmm. So you go on the floor, it would essentially be like a bigger EB Expo with bigger lines.
But is it going to, like, I imagine it's like a 4-day thing? 4-day E3?
It's 3 or 4 days, yeah.
So they're not looking at extending an extra day at the start for media like they do for, Simon?
So far, no. Nothing announced. So all that was announced this morning was it's public, 15,000 tickets, and pricing.
Okay.
So, I guess if you're going to go, I think you need to maybe temper your expectations of what you're going to get over.
See, but at the same time, we should mention, obviously, that we've never gone, but we have an understanding from conventions what it's like. Now, we've been really lucky with all the conventions we've gone to. We've had, press days and stuff, so we've been able to get hands-on a little bit early. Like, an example with EB Expo this year, we were able to play a good 40 minutes of Zelda that no one else got to do. We got to play Horizon Zero Dawn for as long as we wanted, essentially. Yeah. And then when we met people the next day, and they're like, I waited 2 hours to play Horizon for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we're a bit spoilt that way.
Oh,
because like we haven't had to actually line up for things in a while.
Even though we do anyway.
Even though we do, but it's just like, we haven't had to sit there for like 2 hours.
So, and you got to think too, like the games on display there will be stuff more than likely that we already know about.
Yeah,
like, there's not going to be any like for example, here's this, like if they announce at the conference, here's this brand new IP. They're not going to say then you can go play it on the show floor right now. Like that's not going to be happening.
It might be like I'll talk about like say we'll use Days Gone as an example, right? Because that doesn't have a set release date yet. Like that will be playable at E3 behind closed doors. You will not be playing Days Gone on the floor.
Yep.
Like you would have to be media and you would have to go and book a time and go play Days Gone.
So it just seems like, I wouldn't say a last-ditch effort, but I think the red flags are up for E3 in its current incarnation. Yeah. The guys running it must be looking at it going, this is becoming less and less relevant every year. We need to do something. And this might just be a quick board meeting, Band-Aid fix. Let's let the public in this year, get through it, and then we can really start figuring out what we're going to do.
But it's kind of this weird middle ground, because I know one thing I also noticed as well in this announcement, they were like, hey, if you're a streamer or a YouTuber, make sure you apply for media this year. Which means in the same way that sort of the conventions here, they're opening up to new media. Like I remember back in the day, like mind you, we've been doing this for a year and a half now, 2 years. Like we weren't, a lot of, like when we first started applying for things, we never got them.
No, we'll doing it in
but now we could, because now the world is more open to YouTube and like streaming and podcasts.
We've been doing this for like 8 months, really, in its current incarnation.
Yeah, no, I mean, like we applied for passes and stuff when we were a podcast, we were a radio show.
Yeah, we got laughed at.
Yeah, not directly, but we
I remember hearing a comment. I'm not sure where I heard it. It was from someone in the industry saying that, like at E3, even in the past, you can go, I've got a website and a blog, and they'll give you a media pass.
Well, that's what I'm hoping.
You just need to get there.
Yeah,
like that's the thing, and obviously that's difficult for us.
I said that to Millie this afternoon. I was on the couch, and I was thinking, I'm like, imagine how hard it is to get a media pass at E3. Like,
apparently it's not.
And then I thought about it. I'm like, should we try? I'm like, well, I can't afford that flight.
Yeah, no.
Like, but we could try. I can't afford that flight.
It's not just the flight that's the issue.
Accommodation.
Accommodation would be the big one. Would you go?
Yeah.
If it was like down under?
I wouldn't go as a fan or as a paying patron, because you'd just be in lines for 2 hours and you wouldn't get to play anything, like you were saying.
Well, even with like going back to Comic-Con, which has about that same number of people attend, to get into Hall H, people are lining up 11 p.m. the night before.
Like the Kevin Smith panel, which is like the Saturday or whatever, people line up like on the Friday.
But you've got to choose with those ones. Like if, say, the Avengers panel's on and then Batman v Superman's on in Hall H, you can only line up for one because they clear the theatre out, and you're never ever going to get there until like 2 days later. So you have to pick the one that you want and make your decision.
I don't know, it seems like a little bit of maybe a rash decision to me to open it to the public, because I don't think, not that I've been obviously, but it doesn't seem like the event is tailored for that amount of people to be there. It's
not tailored for the public.
Yeah, it's
now,
not.
What I'm finding very interesting as well, is that when a lot of outlets and stuff, or sort of people that do go to E3, they're like, the short answer is it's going to make our job harder, because the average Joe Blow will come in and they won't have the same. Like when you go somewhere as media, you're working, so you're behaving, you're keeping to a standard, you're working, so you're representing something. But the average person, if they go in, they just be like, hey man, we're going to play Horizon. Like as an example, they won't follow the same rules that we would.
What you said when we got there?
100%. I was like, well, stop, man. Where's the Horizon at? He's like, what? I'm like, hey, come.
There's also
Sony.
So,
what about security?
Before I get to that, with the point about they're like, hey, this is going to make our job harder. But every time I've seen someone like some sort of press talk about that, the comments are all like, oh, it's going to make your job harder. I'm like, dude, you have the total wrong. Like, this is just ignorant
you have
people.
No idea.
They're like,
Not that even we really have any idea.
No, but it's just like,
we get it.
We get it. Like, it's tough to cover that shit, especially when you're surrounded by thousands of people.
Yeah.
Like, they're sitting there going, oh, you're whinging about your job, or you get to play video games. Like, well, if we didn't have a preview piece, would you be sad? Well, we probably. Well, there you go. Then shut up.
So you got to think also, like E3 has the big names of industry there.
Yeah.
You got Shuhei Yoshida, Phil Spencer, Reggie from Nintendo. These guys, I'd imagine, are spending the whole day going from one end of the hall to the other, doing this, that, and the other. How hard is it going to be for them to get through, one, that sea of people, two, God forbid, one person recognises who they are, and all of a sudden... Like, I'm picturing them building, like, underground tunnels to get the execs from where they need to be to where they need to be. It's... I don't know, it's just...
And once again,
it's
that's the
say.
professionalism of being media, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've had that here. We've sort of seen, Australia's C-list, video game people. Like, when we were at PAX, right? And, like, the Good Game guys were there. Like, they were in the media room with us. But no one was like, oh my God. We were like, oh, hey. Like, we might have gone, how you going? They've gone, how you going? Like, because you respect that. You're like,
courtesy.
It's the courtesy. Like, I'm not going to rock and be like, oh my God. I might be like, hey, man, I really like an example is this weekend at RTX, I met Alana Pierce, who, IGN, all that sort of stuff. And I pretty much said, hey, man, I really like your work on Beyond. It's lovely to meet you. Have a good time. And we left.
Yeah.
You mean like it wasn't like, oh my god, I can take a photo. It's just like that's the respect. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I like what you do. Cool. The average person ain't gonna do that.
No, because like you picture Phil Spencer walking across the shop floor and who gets recognised. All these people are going to fanboy out and ask all these stupid questions about obviously stuff that he can't talk about, and then he's delayed from getting from here to here because he's trying to crowd surf over all these people, and it's just, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I can't wait for to see the E3 wrap-ups this year.
Yeah.
From the big media outlets this was the biggest mistake they have done.
Or they could be like, this was the greatest thing. The level of fun and hype and excitement in here is amazing.
Because the average fan would inject that enthusiasm.
Yeah, like if you're in a room and they're sitting there, like, the difference is with the press conferences, it's just press. So, it's not as if they're going to be like, hey, we're giving Crash Bandicoot comes out next week. Everyone's like, woo! But like, so the public would go ballistic.
Yeah.
And having that extra oomph would just be, well, like from a marketing standpoint at least.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I can't wait just for the after E3 reports to come out of people that were there. Like, what was it like? How stanky was it? Oh, man.
But you were saying, like, the big announcements and things. Because E3 is the main
it's the big
preview for all the upcoming games.
It's pretty much all the companies going, here's us for the next 2 to 3 years. This is kind of what you can
Exactly. So it's the first time you see it. And that's why, I guess, why the actual events aren't open to the public, because this is where they wanted to get out in the best light, to get it advertised by professionals who can write it up, make it concise, make it coherent, get the correct information out. If there were fans and everybody there, people would be tweeting out things, misinformation, start up fights about, this looks sucks. We're like, well, no, it's not actually this, it's this. Wait until the press release comes out. And because it's not a press release and then the event, this is the press release. Like, this is the first time anyone's going to hear about it. So you do have to keep it segregated.
You need to make sure the people that are going to be able to talk about it, talk properly about it. And like you said, have the correct information. So luckily, public isn't allowed into the conferences, but then it's kind of like, well, why would you really want to go?
Because I want to go purely for the conference. I want to be in that room when they make that big.
Exactly.
That's what I want.
But would you pay, what is it, 150 US, 149? To essentially go into an arcade.
149 for the first 1,000, then it's 249 for the next 14,000.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Would you pay $150 to go and play some of the newest games?
Yeah, if it was in Melbourne, absolutely. International.
If there was an E3 equivalent in Australia and it was $100, I probably would highly think about it. But it would depend. It'd be very tough. I'd have to make that decision. But if it was in Australia, we could probably apply for me.
It kind of changes.
So it's kind of.
How much does it cost? How much does the EB Expo cost?
A couple hundred. For the weekend, it's probably $150.
Wow. Is that Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Yeah, that's pretty. No, that's good for 3 days. Oh, but then you got morning and night passes.
$50 a day.
Yeah. Meteor. I'm Josh Saunders.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Dylan Button.
What do you think? Would you want to go to E3? Bet you do. Comment below.
Bet you do.
With we three?
Get the fuck out.